It's the Exit 52 podcast presented by Jimmy's Seafood. And folks, we have to open up this week's show with a statement of fact, a simple, piece of information for the listeners. Our guy Banks playing sick right now. A bit of a flu game here, it seems to be. He's didn't talk much in the pre-show. Normally we have a rousing chat. Me and RDT were pretty much carrying that thing. He set the mic up and he said, let's get this show on the road. This thing's absolutely taking a whack at me. So really respect you for even coming on and chatting with us tonight.
It's heroic. I know.
We've had quite a few flu games the last couple of weeks, so I think we're all battling through. It's just that time of the year.
We're all grinding out here.
Nobody's healthy. No team is healthy right now.
No, everyone's got their nicks and their knocks. There's no doubt about it. Everyone's carrying something right now.
I will say
December.
I will say a Banks at about 65 or 70% is a lot better than any of these other podcasters at 80 or 85. So
thank you for saying that.
Yeah.
Probably the nicest thing you've ever said.
Him on one of his worst days is many on their best days. I would agree with that. I knock on wood. I have not experienced getting.
You're due for. I feel like you last year was the year of the Taylor sickness. I feel like you were battling through it.
Well, I had to strep the one time. Like
double dipped with COVID.
Have you been hanging around your father much lately?
Wow.
Not.
Look, I mean that's in the past. We don't want to talk about the past. That's been, I think, brought up on this show before. I don't think there's any need to, relitigate, things that happened, a couple of years ago around this time on New Year's. And
is that Mark McGuire? I'm not here. No, well, the finger was Raffy, but
but I'm not here to talk about the past. McGuire. Yeah. I did not take steroids. Period. I believe is Raffy with the finger pointing.
That's correct.
Yeah, but we're definitely doing on the time.
Bill did a finger. I did not have sexual relations with that woman.
Did he point in that?
Maybe he may have.
I one time like a month and a half ago, for some reason, got on I think I might have said this at some point. I got caught up on old news videos. I was watching old news reports from the Monica Lewinsky scandal. What a freaking time!
Talk about a time where I wish Twitter was around.
The leads to some of those NBC nightly news stories is unbelievable what they're talking about. It was wild.
I saw that clip go around. I think it was Sunday night when Kanye was talking about Chris Paul, and it was just Chris Paul at the dinner table the next day, and it was that clip. So it was pretty good. Got me going.
So shout out to you, Banks. Really appreciate you, and all the listeners, should send some tweets Banks' way, wishing him well. Little bit of manifestation on him getting on the back end of this thing.
Yeah, my Venmo is open. Thank you.
All right, let's talk Baltimore Ravens. You can go back and listen to our raw reaction, instant analysis on Sunday. I know I had a couple beverages in me for that podcast, so was ripping off some takes, but go back and listen to that. Like we said, I think at the end of that show, there's not much more to litigate from this game. I think that the news we were waiting for was the Lamar Jackson injury situation, which is, I don't know if it's really any more clear than it was Sunday, other than the fact that it's not season ending. Week to week is the terminology they're using, that John Harbaugh came out and said. It feels like it's trending towards him not playing on Sunday. I think that's a pretty safe assumption. Then the hope would maybe that he's back the next week or two. I would say we're going to preview this game as if he's not playing. I think that's the safer way to go about it. And as we saw, Tyler Huntley led a game-winning drive on Sunday to give the Ravens a victory. But this is just sort of feels a little deja vu to last year as the Lamar Jackson injuries now move their way into year two in terms of hindering a Ravens season. But I have a long-term thought to throw out to you guys, but I'll start with short-term. Do you feel like Tyler Huntley can kind of get the Ravens through this patch, Banks, or is this going to be similar to last year where they're resilient performances from Huntley, they're admirable performances, but ultimately the Ravens don't win all that many games?
Firstly, I'd like to say finally the Pittsburgh Steelers have caught in a break. I mean, they've gone through some tough sledding for, a good 40, 50 years without any bounces going their way. And sometimes the ball bounces back in your favor. And finally that day has come for the Pittsburgh Steelers. Because they were rocked with COVID a couple of years ago that swung the division in our favor or anyways, The over-under this week, I don't know. I still don't think I know what the number is, but it is too high. It needs to be lower. This is going to be an ugly game. It's going to be a rock fight. I love a good rock fight, especially when it comes to Pittsburgh Steelers, Baltimore Ravens. Their defense is very good, and so is ours. We got to give credit where credit's due, and I think it's a defense that Lamar himself has struggled against immensely, and I wouldn't expect Tyler Huntley to do any better, really. I mean, it's going to be a matter of just grinding out a few drives and trying to collect what you can and executing and finishing. So who knows? I mean, Sunday, Tyler Huntley was low key going through his own flu game. I don't know if that's been broadcast.
I read.
Yeah,
that
they got out
somewhere.
there a little bit. Got out there a little bit today, and yesterday.
Yeah,
But there was a thought that he might not be able to play. That was what that he
Right.
was on the verge of not playing.
which we would have seen a lot more James Prochet throws, I would assume. Which, hey, it's in the playbook. Anyways, I suppose that means there's some hope that there's a better Tyler Huntley. Not that he wasn't great on Sunday, but he came up with the drive when we needed it. But hopefully he can put something. I mean, what was he, 27 of 32? Like, they're just going to throw everything underneath. I mean, that's all. Like, the passing chart for Huntley on Sunday was pretty remarkable, where everything within 10, 15 yards and everything to his left was completed. And that's been kind of his MO every time he comes in. And that's what you want from a backup guy. So I'm hoping that the run game can really lift him a bunch. That's kind of been MIA the last couple weeks. So that's kind of like the meal ticket, I think, for the offense to kind of put together something that will do the job enough to beat a Steelers team. And I mean, this is a game that I had circled months out as like, oh yeah, we're going to go to Pittsburgh. We're going to smoke them. We're going to bury that team when they're already, close to dead. And they're just kind of hanging on by a thread. They're kind of still in the fight a little bit. And there was a game, I forget, like 3 or 4 weeks ago, where I don't remember who they were playing, but it was a bad team. And the Steelers were home dogs to that team, and I couldn't help but laugh. And now here we are, decimated again, no quarterback, and we're the ones who are underdogs in Pittsburgh. So that's disappointing. But we'll see.
Barstool has, the sportsbook has 37 as the over-under.
Too high.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's too high.
I'm
It's too way too
scrolling
high.
and I don't see anything really close. San Francisco and Tampa is 37 as well, but it's kind of weird. Yeah, it's like we talked about it in our pregame. Like, there's just really no juice. The Huntley Pickett quarterback matchup isn't the Lamar Ben, Flacco Ben that we'd seen for all those years, and for obvious reasons. And it's funny too, because like when you were talking about the rock fight, and like, I mean, we're all used to growing up with these Ravens Steelers, like, this is going to be a low scoring game. This is going to be a 20-13 game, but it's just because the defenses were so good, not because the offenses were so like lackluster. So it's like, we may have the same kind of game, but it's going to be for a different reason. It's just going to be because the offenses are like, nah,
Well, you also have, I mean, the thing that exacerbates that, though, is that these are two quality defenses. I mean, the Ravens have played well. You're right. I mean, it feels like there's a lot less resistance on the offensive side of the ball to make it like can we get through their unstoppable, immovable object with some sort of force, whether that's, Flacco with some, with the Boldens and the Torrey Smiths of the world. Can you throw it over the top, or Pittsburgh with Antonio and those different guys and Big Ben? Yeah, this feels like it's going to be a lot less. I mean, I said to you guys before we started recording that Kenny Pickett is like frisky when you watch him. There's like some times I watched him on the Monday night game against the Colts, and there was like he did some things. I was like, okay, all right, but he feels like a guy that this version of the Ravens defense kind of eats up to a certain extent. And maybe the Steelers will be able to establish some things on their side in terms of what, Huntley's trying to do. I think you're right, Banks. I think it's going to be a ton of underneath throws. Now, with that said, the Ravens don't have any deep playmakers anyway, so it's kind of that anyway. And so, we'll see what they really got to figure out a way to establish a running game in this game, which, you're not going to get it. You're going to get some from Huntley, not with the same dynamic nature as Lamar Jackson. So you've got to get, Kenyon Drake or whatever going in this game to, I think, have success. This is going to be a total slog. I think we are, until Lamar comes back, or even when Lamar comes back, I think we have to reframe our expectations to the Ravens playing slogs week after week. I don't think this is going to be a, beautiful team to watch win football games now. I think this is going to be like stressful, defense first. Hopefully we can figure out a way to get a score defensively at some point here, just to kind of that feels like, I think I said that a couple weeks ago, that feels like it's been coming. We just haven't had that really big defensive play with a score, or even like a Duvernay punt return or something like that.
You almost had it with
Ravens. Ravens could kind of need a jolt like that a couple times this Sunday to keep the Huntley train on the tracks, or the Brett Hundley train if he ends up having to come in the game.
That's going to confuse a lot of people.
Huntley and Hundley. Love that.
Yeah, no, you're right. They're due for like a Justin Houston sack fumble, and then someone else picking it up and taking it in. Like, I feel like we saw that a bunch with Polamalu and Flacco, but it's like the Ravens are, they're itching for something like that, just to kind of get them going, and like you said, give them that juice.
Devin Duvernay has gotten a little fair catch happy, and I think he needs to turn it up here. And I think that's going to be a message kind of sent to him too.
One of the reporters, it may have been Jonas Schaefer, tweeted after the game and was like, Devin Duvernay is like an all-pro returner. He's a very smart player. Like, he does everything right on the field. And he was like, he has been his fair catches have been questionable recently. I think there was one, was it the Jacksonville game when he took it out of the end zone? Or, he was his returns have been questionable, with stuff like that. So, yeah, especially Harbaugh being I don't know if you guys know that he was a special teams coach before, he got to the Ravens, but
really,
with him having that background, it's maybe, you gotta, because if they can get that going, if he can bring one back, not even for a touchdown, but, cross midfield into 30, 20, something like that. That's a perfect recipe for success with Huntley right there.
Yeah, it's gonna be interesting to see what happens. The other thing I was gonna say about the Steelers is, you feel like as a Ravens fan, you end up watching the Steelers a lot, whether it be before some of these Ravens Steelers games or around it, and you have a really good feel for what they do. They've been so irrelevant. I don't feel like I've just sat and watched them a lot. Watched, 3/4 of the Sunday night game against the Colts a couple weeks ago. But other than that, they're just in no high-profile games, and they don't score. So they're not on Red Zone. If you watch Red Zone, you don't see them at all because they don't do anything offensively. It's on a Sunday, team. They just when you jumping around, if you that's the way you watch, which is a lot of times how I'll watch, you just don't ever see them because they don't do anything. But this also feels like a game to me. When I woke up today, I was like, "Oh, we're doing the pod. What am I going to predict?" This feels like a game the Steelers figure out a way to win against a Ravens team that has almost been asking to lose and has, lost against Jacksonville. But in a couple of these games, just been asking to lose against teams that are not as good. And now you don't have Lamar. I don't know if that's where I'll finish when we put the scores down, but, this feels like 14-13 or
10-9,
16-10 or something.
But did you hear Berman's Ravens Broncos line in his fastest 2 minutes on Monday night or Sunday night, whatever it was?
No, I do actually think Berman's fastest 2 minutes are pretty good. Still.
They're they have not lost their mojo at all. It's as good as it was when we were in middle school watching. He said something. He was like, Ravens 10, Broncos 9, dealer hit me or something like that. Oh,
I did see that. I did see that.
I thought that was great. It's just so funny.
Yeah. It just feels like it's going to go down go down that path from a score perspective. You know, I'm interested to watch Kenny Pickett. I mean, this is the Ravens had Lamar as the young quarterback in this rivalry. Now it's the first one for Pickett. I'm just interested to see how he responds. I don't know if he played in college in Pittsburgh. I don't know if you guys heard that.
Well, but it's not like the same stadium or anything though, right?
No, it is. It actually is.
No way.
They play
That's
in
crazy.
the same stadium. Yeah.
That's wild.
That's why, yeah.
Oh man.
Yeah. The locker rooms are like 20 feet away or something.
I've actually been in the Steelers locker room. I stole a Gatorade out of their cooler when I was in there. My cousin had his rehearsal dinner at the
absolute bad boy.
Club level. Yeah. It's not a big deal. Took a picture in Dennis Dixon's locker.
Wow.
Yeah.
Can they arrest you across state lines for that?
I think statute of limitations is expired, but
that's very interesting. It's very, very interesting. You would admit that publicly.
Speaking of, I posted pictures of it on Facebook.
Wow.
But speaking of interesting, our guy Spenny, I don't know if you saw his tweet earlier today. I think it was today, where he said it's feeling more and more like we're seeing the last of Lamar Jackson in a Ravens jersey. And that sent people off. I'm anxious to see your guys' thoughts, feelings. Again, he was like, there's nothing. I don't think he had anything behind it. I think he was just tweeting out his feelings.
Well, that was my long-term thought that I was going to pose, and I did see that from our pal Spenny, and that's not what set this off, but it was interesting. This is now another injury for Lamar. We'll see how long it lasts. But now I think if you're the Ravens, you now have to start evaluating this injury history a little bit more than just a one-year fluke. I don't know where it stands. It's an interesting feeling. It does feel a little foreboding now. There's just not that the love affair is wearing off, but it's definitely not as fervent as it was for the year or in the middle of last year. I don't know. It's interesting.
Did you notice Tyler Huntley post game? Him saying that he was going to stop by Lamar's house to check on him on the way home.
Didn't see that.
I didn't see that.
That's something he said. What does that, if you read between the lines there, what does that say?
It says that he likes him.
Well, sure. Yeah. But also says Lamar Jackson didn't stick around after he got hurt, which is the kind of stuff that, I don't know, the hot take artist could take and run with.
I did notice that he had tweeted seconds after the game, which to me, because I was like, all right, I wonder if he's in the locker room or, if he's in a training room or something. But I still don't think injured players are allowed to have their phones on them, even if they're in the locker room after the game or,
Yeah, I mean, with that said, Lamar seems to kind of do what he wants on some things. Yeah. So I don't.
It's a good point, though.
Yeah, I mean, potentially he also could have still been there and rolled out of there. Although, I mean, you would have think that him and Huntley would have talked. That's interesting. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I mean, what is there to say about the Lamar Jackson? I mean, I don't know. I guess
I'm just suggesting that that's a part of the fuel for speculation that is afoot at the moment.
Wasn't there something? Didn't you like another picture? A Patriots picture or something, or did I?
Yeah, like last week or something.
That was last week. Yeah,
it's like a regular occurrence at this point. It's whatever.
Yeah, it's Manny Machado's wife liking him in a Yankee jersey.
We'll see.
Interesting.
I mean, here's the thing: if you're the Ravens, you're gonna make this decision. I mean, this decision is gonna happen in the offseason. I think very quickly after this year, no matter how the season goes. If he comes back and he wins the Ravens Super Bowl, I think he will get signed quickly, and if this goes the other way, I think they will move on in whatever time frame that is. But
anything's possible.
Yeah, we shall see. That is a longer discussion for another day. But I do think from an injury, this becoming a little more consistent, I think that will potentially factor in. But as we always say, and as all these shows and podcasts do, that we're all just speculating here. But score predictions for this game. Like you said, RDT, just before that, just not the same heat. This game's not in prime time. There's really no implications in terms of the Steelers and the playoff hunt. They've rolled it back here to 5-7. So I guess theoretically, if they ripped off some wins, they could get there.
But even even when, I mean, we saw some games between the Ravens and Steelers, a couple years ago that weren't, the players still hated each other. I don't know if these players, like, are any of the Ravens waking up being like, I gotta fucking level George Pickens tomorrow. I gotta take Najee Harris down. It's like, Freiermuth, his knees are mine. It's like,
well, yeah.
There's just there's no real juice in the rivalry right now. And again, that's to be expected. Like, and it's kind of just going back to your point about the Steelers. They're just a boring team right now. Like, they don't have the Hines Wards to hate. They don't have those Antonio Browns to hate. It's just like who would Terrell Suggs hate on this team right now? I don't know. It's just it's a weird point in the rivalry. It's like
yeah, and this is what happens. You have those ebbs and flows. Nothing can stay like super hot. And I think once
they had a good 20-year run where the teams
you're when you're battling for the top of the AFC, and other games have become more. I mean, Ravens Bengals has some heat right now.
Yeah.
So, Banks, your score prediction for this one?
Ravens 13, Steelers 10.
RDT.
I'll say 20-17 Steelers.
I will say 17-13 Steelers.
God, these are some ugly scores.
Yeah.
They're not ugly. They're just JV football, like.
Yeah.
But
let me say what Tyler Huntley, who we sang his praises on Sunday, can continue to become a legend with the fan base if he goes and wins this game.
That's true.
I mean, he has a chance to really become a backup quarterback legend where, like, they'll bring him back to be, like, the game day captain at the bank in, like, 10 years, and he will get a rousing ovation. He has after last year where he's really beloved already. He can really take that to the next level over the next few weeks.
I think Banks talked about it on Sunday, but, like, I know on Part of My Take they talked about it where Big Cat was like last year Tyler Huntley was fun, and he was like it's super entertaining to watch. He's like, and then I looked at his record and I forgot he was 1-4. And it's just like, like you said, like he had you in all those games, but then you're like, oh yeah, he was 1-4. And Big Cat was like, maybe I just remember that because he beat the Bears. But yeah, I know. I mean, it's almost like how Tyrod was like a local legend for doing nothing, like chanting his name to get in at the end of games and all that. So yeah, to Huntley, I mean, he could have the 105.7 airwaves rocking after this game if he can pull that out. Which, by the way, someone, I forget who, but they tweeted and they said they were driving home from the game and someone had called 105.7 and said put Huntley at quarterback and Lamar at running back and just run it from there. So that's always certainly a take.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely an opinion.
On to the Orioles. RDT, will the Orioles make a splash? I'll just open it up simply for you.
It depends on your definition of splash. Like, were they going to get Verlander? No. Were they going to get Judge? No. Were they going to get Correa? No. Like, again, they got Kyle Gibson, who I blogged about this, and I said I was the fact that when he signed here, Kyle Gibson, again, he's an all-star in 2021. He had a 5.05 ERA last year with the Phillies, but he's also playing in front of one of the worst defenses in baseball. He's a ground ball pitcher, and again, that does not help when your defense is awful. He said there were three main factors to why he wanted to come to Baltimore, because he had the exact same offer from the Blue Jays, who there's a decent chance the Blue Jays are picked to finish first or second in the division. And he said it was the defense of the Orioles, Adley, and the wall. So it's like, all right, there we're seeing it. Like, the wall is working. Pitchers are taking notice of it. Like, hey, I can cut down my ERA. Same thing with Adley. Like, if I pitch to this guy, it's going to help me. So again, I think that was a fine signing for $10 million. But everyone is still hooked on this Mike Elias liftoff quote, which he probably shouldn't have said, because now everyone's like, oh, we're fucking waiting on Rodon and Bassett and Xander Bogaerts, and it's like, well, that's not going to happen. Like they're increasing the payroll, and these people just wanted Judge, or they wanted these big free agents, and it was never going to happen. Again, should he have said lift off and we're gonna compete and do this and that and blah blah blah? Probably not. but he said it, and now he's kind of having to walk that back. People are definitely mad. I mean, it's day 3 of the winter meetings, and they haven't signed anyone. They haven't signed any major league guys. Mike Elias did say that they have multiple multi-year offers out to starting pitchers. They have, I think he said they have offers out to bats who would be in the opening day lineup, the opening day 9, he said. So again, I think not everything has to happen at the winter meetings. Like it's not crazy that nothing has happened so far. I think they will still sign guys. It would have been nice to see them get like a Josh Bell for 2 years, $33 million. That would have been a nice, DH option. But yeah, I mean, that's pretty much everything. They took someone in the Rule 5 draft today, a pitcher from the Red Sox. So I wouldn't be surprised if they signed someone, by the time you're listening to this tomorrow. But again, I'm not expecting it to be one of the big dogs. It was never going to be Trey Turner for $300 million. Like it just wasn't. And people seem to have that in their mind because Elias said it. So again, he kind of put himself in this pickle. But like I saw people trashing Elias today, being like, he's a snake oil salesman and you cannot trust a guy like this. What are you talking about? What does that even mean? So Twitter again is making me want to off myself because these people just have no idea what they're talking about. So it's kind of infuriating. But again, we just got to sit back and wait and see what happens. See if they can wrap up some of these deals in San Diego.
Thanks.
I have so much to discuss about the hot stove. I'm just teeming.
The stove is hot, by the way.
It's hot. The stove is hot. That was a little facetious what I just said, but it's actually been very hot. It's been entertaining. We pretty much buried the hot stove here. Talking about the last decade. I
buried
or
it
so.
for 2 consecutive weeks.
Did you bring back the hot stove? Did you?
I may have inspired. I don't want to. Pat myself on the back too much here.
No,
but
pat yourself on the back.
Yeah, I mean, I inspired the hot stove. I gassed up the stove. So.
Yeah, there's people that are super fired up about the fact that they haven't made quote unquote that big splash. I mean, like the Kyle Gibson signing, that's a nice signing. It's not like
it's Jordan Lyles from last year. It's
a nice signing, but I think these people's expectations are so crazy that they thought we were going to go out and get a Trey Turner or like do something big. And there's so much offseason left. It's December 7th. Like most years, nobody is signed by now. And just because a handful of people have signed over the last couple of days doesn't mean that there's not opportunities to sign more guys. So it was foolish for people to have read into that takeoff quote as if it was just we're just opening the checkbook and going after everybody. Like there's still a calculated approach, and there's, like I said, there's still guys out there. So just settle down, people. A lot of off season left.
Again,
especially as we talked about, that baseball's free agency window doesn't just occur in the winter meetings. Like I think it got boosted because of the Judge stuff and the Turner stuff popped off. So you have two big dominoes off the board. But a lot of times we've seen guys like wait. So
Manny and Harper signed at like the end of February. Like teams were at spring training and Manny and Harper did not have teams.
Can I say this though? It is you listen like health of baseball, and the Padres had $400 million to give to Aaron Judge. Like, is this just funny
and
money
Turner.
at this point? Like, what is going on? What is going on at San Diego? Where's all this money coming from?
I think their
TV deal can't be that big. They must just be. What is this? A ruse? Like, what is happening?
I think there are owners now, and I think the Phillies are kind of doing it too. Where again, they're like, fuck it, we're going to spend. Who cares about 2033 or 2035? Because that's what everyone is saying. Like that Trey Turner contract when, in 11 years or this contract and this. It's like, dude, if you can win 2 or 3 World Series, who cares?
This is the whole Rams thing that came up today too, where you had the tweets about the trade. The Rams don't care.
No, fuck them.
They won the Super Bowl and they needed, and not to sidetrack this, they were market share grabbing the city against another team. They had to go for it. Like you have to go and win because you have to build generations of fans. It didn't make any sense for them to build through the draft for a decade and make smart. Like they had a roster. They needed to go for it. They had Aaron Donald. They have Sean McVay. Like it's different for the baseball stuff. But I was going to bring that up at some point through the NFL and I just forgot. Like, no one should criticize the Rams trade. Yeah, they may suck for like 3 years, They won the Super
won a
Bowl.
Super Bowl.
Everyone's memory in Los Angeles is them winning the Super Bowl. And as long as they keep trying to win and don't do dumb stuff, no one's going to be upset with them. They bought themselves equity. It's okay.
Mhm.
Go ahead, baseball. Baseball.
Well, no, again, I mean, you were on it with that, but yeah, I mean, San Diego is just throwing out insane money, and I don't really know where they're getting it from. But again, I mean, I love it. It would have been great if they would have got Judge, or they really want to turn. I mean, the MLB Players Association is probably not thrilled. The union's probably not thrilled that the report came out that Turner turned down $40 million more from the Padres to go to Philly. But I don't. Yeah, again, I don't know where they're getting that money from, but I love the idea of the Padres being like, fuck it. Again, we're going to go all in. We're going to pay everybody $1 billion, and we're going to try and win a World Series. Because again, in the long run, who cares? Who cares about in 11 years what a contract looks like? If they can win 2 or 3 World Series, that's the goal. That's what you play for. So, hot stove.
If you're a Nationals fan, you've got to be that's going to be.
Again, they won a World Series.
No. I get that, but I'm saying
it
that
sucks
takes the sting. But to have Turner and Harper come in your stadium 12 times a year, whatever.
And Scherzer.
And Scherzer,
and Scherzer. I mean,
that's going to be. I mean, that is going to be such a scene at Nats Park.
That's the tough part. But again, I mean, they won. It does suck that because again, they were probably in the mindset of like, oh, we're gonna have these guys for the next 10 years. Like, we're going to have Juan Soto playing with Trey Turner and Bryce Harper, for a long, long time. And then it's like, oh, you blink and it's gone. So, crazy. I mean, I don't feel bad for any Nats fan because, again, they won the World Series.
No, you don't feel bad for them, but I'm saying that, I mean, those are going to be brutal games to go watch.
Oh,
just all these guys that you love, because you still love the players. I mean, you love winning the title, but you want guys on your team that you have for a while and you take ownership of. And
yeah, it's wild that they had Trey Turner during his prime. And then they're going to get him for another 11 years coming down to their building, having to play against them, like, while technically still being in his prime. Like,
it's interesting you talk about, take it back to the Orioles. Interesting, RET, to say, like, should Elias have not said the liftoff quote? I still love the liftoff quote. I think people seem to be reasonable. Like
Banks said, people thought when he said liftoff, like, guess what? Our payroll is going to be $170 million this year. Like, we're going to be in the competition with Verlander and Judge. And it's like, no, like,
yeah, Verlander made no sense if you're going to go get a starter, they should be in the high end. Where they should be is the Rodon thing. Like, if you wanted to go get him, he's 30. You sign him for whatever it is, 6 or 7 years, 5, 6, 7 years. You give him a lot of money and you feel like he can fit within whatever window you've established. Like, going out and, I mean, the Mets are going to get Verlander to try to win it this year. I don't think anybody from the Orioles are going to make big swings to go win it this year. If they get to the playoffs, then you see what happens and you hope that your window opens early. But you're not going to go get a guy. I mean, the number that Verlander got for 2 years is absolutely crazy. Like, well, the Orioles are not there. The Orioles are not getting Trey Turner for 11 years. Like, that's just like not what they needed. I mean, that's an 11-year contract from Philly, but the Phillies are like, okay, we are putting this into overdrive. Like, that's what
they're going to try and win the next.
That's what the Padres are trying to do. I mean, they're going to get Judge so they can try to win the next 2 or 3 years, and then they're going to figure it out after that.
Yep.
So. But I mean, the Yankees would have been good if the Judges left. The Yankees would have folded. I mean, if they had lost Judge to San Diego for more money, I mean, but it sounded like Judge was always coming back. Everything today was that he was just sort of flirting with those other teams, that he was pretty much set on coming back to the Yankees. They're going to name him captain. I'm sure you're going to love that. RDC.
Yeah. Boone.
They're also. There's also.
Sorry, go on, Brian.
They can't. Elias can't go out and force people to sign. Like,
it takes 2 to tango.
It takes 2 to tango. Yep. And like, there's a lot of years of people with preconceived notions of what the Orioles are about. Now you've got Scott Boras out there saying things like the birds are out there or whatever. They're feathered up. I forget exactly what the quote is.
Birds of prey and they're feathered up.
And you see tweets from all kinds of reporters that, they're talking to guys. They're in the mix. It's the most you can ask for. Like, yeah, some people might want them to go overpay for a guy, but like, even when you go above somebody else's offer, there's no promise that they're going to take it. We just watched out with Aaron Judge in San Diego. So like, I'm not sure what more people want. I mean, I get they want something and they, but Elias is putting his best foot forward, and there's still plenty of time for something to happen.
Yeah, I mean, again, it's them going to the mall and being like, I have to come home with something shiny. I have to. Like, just because it's the winter meetings that people are like, we need something now because other teams are making a splash and other teams are doing stuff. We need it now. And like, that's not the case. And sorry. It's like, I mean, you're right. Again, it takes two to tango. Like, say the Orioles had a deal, had an offer for Trey Turner at 330 million and he turned that down to go to Philly. It's like, well, what do you want Elias to do? Like, it's like you said, you can ask the hottest girl at the school to dance, and if she says no, hey, you asked, man. Like that's on her. That is her fault. So I'm right there with you.
It's also just like a rule of thumb across not just baseball but all sports. Like, you don't build a team through free agency. No, like, can you think of any team in any sport that's been like really foundationally built through free agency? It's not really a thing. You build through the draft, supplement free agency. So let the guy supplement.
It's always been, and again, we know what Elias, like what his MO was in Houston, was like, I'm going to trade prospects for big league pitching. And that's, I mean, we have no reason to believe, that they're not going to do that now. Like, I know the Brewers have been steadfast in saying like Woodruff is untouchable and Burns is untouchable. That, I mean, there have been connections there. So who knows? Again, I'm just, it's like we said, December 7th, day 3 of the winter meetings. The team just had its best year in 5 years. And there are people who were like, fuck this offseason stinks. It's like, guys, there's 3 months left of the offseason. Things can happen whenever. Like, it's been awful and brutal getting on Twitter, and it's just it's a nightmare. But again, they may sign, if they go out and they do get a Rodon or they get a Bassett, and then they get another big league catcher, a backup catcher and stuff like that. Like, that's and then say they if they end up signing Adley or signing Gunnar to some extension, it's like that's just as good as I think as a free agent signing. So it's been rough, but hot stove.
Yeah, the MLB trade rumor kind of summations of all of the sort of Orioles scuttlebutt. Orioles probably ruling out like long-term additions, so like 5 to 6 year deals, but could do like 2 to 3. Which, let me throw some names out to you. Puts like a Noah Syndergaard in play, a Ross Stripling in play. Is it Stripling? Stripling? I never know how to say that.
I think Stripling.
Yeah. Michael Wacha. So okay. Then in terms of some first base options, Brandon Belt, Dominic Smith. Let me tell you what, Joey Gallo's in this list. No. Joey Gallo struggling. Do not need any part of that. So, those I think are the supplemental pieces that Banks you're talking about. Like, grab a couple of vets, maybe get a bat or two, throw them in with the young guns, have a good combination of people. So.
And Elias had some interesting quotes too. Like, I gotta find them, but he talked about, he's like, we've talked with other teams about trades, and he was like, we're not going to. I gotta find his exact quote where he was like, we're not gonna like mortgage our future this year to move laterally and just get another guy who doesn't really improve the playoff chances, like another major league player. Where is it? I should have had these up already. They were good quotes, like blah blah blah. Elias said he can't handicap whether the Orioles will sign another player, looking for backup catcher. Damn it, I don't know where these quotes are, but I'm looking. I can't find them. But
this is invigorating radio.
I know this is awesome. This is great.
There's also like the notion, okay, Yankees fans on a very big high this morning when they re-sign Aaron Judge, but that doesn't make their team any better. It just helps them sustain. It's a big headline, and it helps them kind of maintain, what they have. But
it made any credibility with their fan base. I mean, that was a straight fan base credibility situation. If they don't go keep Judge, that is a desperate situation at Yankee Stadium coming up this year. I mean, despite the fact that these people just totally have lost sight of the amazing work that my guy Booney has done the last few years with a roster that is just not World Series ready, getting them so close.
I can't wait for Yankee Stadium to turn on Judge by season 4 or 5.
I mean, that's the thing is this was the guy they were booing 2 months ago, a month and a half ago. when he was getting swept, they were booing him and being, I mean, they were calling him every name under the sun. And then, I mean, and Brian, you're right. Like, again, does this make them a better team than they were last year? No. Like, how does this help their pitching? Like,
he's not gonna repeat the performance this year either.
I forget who it was. Someone tweeted this morning and they said, what do Yankee fans think do they think he's going to hit 120 home runs next year? Like, he's going to decline. Like, it's going to happen.
It's a natural regression.
Yeah.
Like, and it happens in every sport when there's like a big jump, even Lamar Jackson. Hey, he had a peak year. We're just not going to see 2019 Lamar ever again. Like, that's probably just something everybody should accept. And that's the thing that goes across a lot of sports. You could try it. You can get, 90% of it, again. Like,
look at Mahomes. Look at Mahomes. Like, Mahomes' year he had. And it's like, I remember being like, Mahomes is going to throw for 10 less touchdowns next year and people are going to call him washed. Like, he had 50 touchdown passes or whatever. And he's going to throw for 40 and people are like, oh, this dude stinks. Like that. I mean, that's just what's going to happen with the Yankees. And like you said, it doesn't add to their pitching. They've lost pitching. Like, they don't, Tyon signed with the Cubs. So
yeah.
I
mean, gotta know a peak year when you see one.
Credit to our buddy JJ, who has been on the trade judge train for 4 years now, like 3 years.
Yeah.
He's been like, you got to trade him. You got to. And I mean, what would have been great too. And I would have, and maybe this is what really put it over the edge for the Yankees is, who comes to Yankee Stadium for opening day? What team starts the season there?
Baltimore.
San Francisco Giants.
No.
Could you have imagined if Aaron Judge batting leadoff for the Giants walked into that stadium on opening day, what that would have been like?
Can I say this? I don't like interleague opening day Yankee Stadium. That's trash.
Yeah,
that's so gimmicky. Like, is that going to be like a Brooklyn Dodgers or a New York Giants thing?
No, I think it was just how it like.
That's what they should do.
Match up the Rockies and the Rays every year or something.
or do the NFL thing. Go Phillies, Stros. Do that. Like, wait.
Whoever's the worst team
just don't set the schedule.
Oh, that too. Yeah, you could do the World Series winners or winner loser, or you could just do the worst team in each league.
Yeah. Like, I mean, I remember, I think the Nats opened the year one year in Boston, and it's like, oh, this is gross.
The thing is, they release a schedule in like early September
because they're trying.
Every team's trying to renew season ticket holders and all that stuff.
Yeah. Well, yeah, and I mean, obviously, Baltimore fans know that because of the Broncos dilemma. That MLB schedule is set, baby.
Well, they set it, but they do definitely do it. And the NFL doesn't have to. They can wait to release their schedule because fucking everyone's hanging on with bated breath to buy their tickets, as opposed to, as you said, Banks, they have to like get out ahead of like selling tickets. Especially with all those games, set promotions, whatever. But we'll see. I mean, I think the Rays. I think the Orioles will do a couple of things here, and I still think that the run up to spring training is going to be very exciting. I've said that I think in every show for the last 2 months, but I'm just very excited for that whole run up, and hopefully Masson does some more spring training games because there's a little bit more interest. You hope that the train kind of gets on the tracks for the hype of the Orioles.
I've already got friends who are like booking flights down there for spring training and getting their tickets. So maybe
I've never done spring training.
Me neither. I think that would be very fun, especially like I feel like if there's a year to go, it's this year.
Yeah, like, you gotta have a good team. Yeah. And even like that's the thing. Even like if guys on the big league club aren't playing, you're gonna get to see a lot of these guys right on the cusp that are gonna get reps down there. So that it will be a fun spring training to kind of be around for.
Yeah, I think it's gonna be a fun next couple months. I think like we've talked about, and try and get some of those guys on.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. Stove is heated up.
Oh,
the stove is as hot as Banks's fever right now.
The best part of the hot stove is John Heyman's tweets. It's arson. It's arson judge. It's arson judge. It's Coke Hamels today. Like he's I
hope he's doing it on purpose.
I mean, there's no way he can. Someone tweeted today, was like, what do you think his reaction is like after he tweets it? Like Taylor, if you tweet out a tweet from the Maryland account and you have like a typo, you're just like, oh fuck. Like this sucks. Like he's gotten roasted for it. And it's fantastic. It's made for some very, very great Twitter content the last 24 hours.
Yeah. You can't get that one wrong.
Long live Arson Judge.
Arson Judge burning down Yankee Stadium. Let's move to the starting five draft presented by Fed Thrill. You can get 20% off your Fed Thrill sunglasses using the promo code EXIT52. I will say there hasn't been much use for the old sunnies the last couple of days. The weather has been terrible, but
I did just check the weather, and the forecast said tomorrow we may see the sun peek out. So
wow, beautiful. Some brutal commutes.
53 degrees, so we'll be all right.
I mean, it was 60 today. It was not horrible from a temperature standpoint. It's just there's no sun.
Yeah.
Starting five draft. It's the most wonderful time of the year. Bowl season. Dum 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 dum. Bowl season just continues to get less and less exciting every year as people just drop out of bowls left and right. The 12-team playoff is gonna, I think, totally start to envelop all of these bowls. That is gonna be electric. Your Maryland Terrapins play in the Duke's Mayo Bowl on the
December 30th?
29th of December. 30th, excuse me, the 30th. Yes, 29th was last year. We play on the 30th this year. And in Charlotte, if people are interested in going to that, you can go get your tickets at umterps.com. We're doing bowl names this week in the draft. There's always some weird sponsors, weird names, weird locations. We're gonna do bowl names. Banks, you have the first pick. RDT, you have the second pick, and I have the wraparound. So Banks, you can start us off.
I'm going to take what I think is an easy chalk pick here. I'm going to take the Tostitos Fiesta Bowl. It is just a perfect marriage between a name of a bowl and a sponsor. I also feel like the Tostitos Fiesta Bowls were, when that was the sponsor of those bowls were fire.
Every year.
Oh, just to say, this is historic. So this is not current bowl names. This is in.
I think it could be.
Oh, for sure.
No, but I'm saying it could be any. But I'm saying Tostitos no longer sponsors the Fiesta Bowl. So I just want to.
Yep.
Yes,
that's correct. Yes. Which is honestly one of the bigger tragedies.
It's a travesty. It's a travesty.
Tragedy, travesty, whatever you want to call it. It's criminal. It's criminal. So I just got to take it. Let's see. The Boise State Oklahoma game, that was a Fiesta Bowl. I guess that was
the UConn game. UConn Oklahoma, I think.
That never happened.
That was the Randy took his plane home to Maryland.
I want to say the Ohio State,
to College Park.
The Ohio State Miami game that went to overtime. I think that was a Fiesta Bowl as well.
I remember that
the Tostitos variety.
I think it was. Yeah, whatever. I mean, anytime that logo was on the field, that game was delivering.
Yeah,
like in a big way.
I just wanted to make sure this got its shine because it was just, like I said, perfect sponsor for the perfect bowl name, perfect location. There it is.
Always a good one. You like when the sponsor makes sense.
We are going in completely different directions here because I have just a laundry list of just bowls that make me laugh. So I'm going the Bad Boys Mowers Gasparilla Bowl.
Mm-hmm.
Now you have to. Just a very fun name to say. The Bad Boys Mowers.
Every
and it
word
being
of
in
that
Tampa is perfect.
Awesome.
I believe Bad Boy Mowers has moved to the Pinstripe Bowl this year, which was new era last year when the Terps were in it.
That fit
no sense.
That fit. New era Pinstripe Bowl was perfect.
Was perfect. Bad Boy Mowers in a New York area that has no grass seems to not make any sense to me, but make of that what you will. Make of that what you will. Yeah, with the New Era stuff we got last year was great. The New Era people were fantastic. So they no longer sponsor a bowl, but now Bad Boy Mowers sponsors the Pinstripe Bowl. But they originally sponsored the Gasparilla. I don't know if they're still sponsoring the Gasparilla.
I don't even know what the Gasparilla Bowl mean. Like, what does that mean?
I'm about to find out. The Gasparilla Bowl is now just the Gasparilla Bowl.
But what is a Gasparilla? Is that a place? Is it a thing?
It's now sponsored by Union Home Mortgage.
This is so batshit crazy. It's crazy.
I'm also going to start out with with the sponsor. I'm going with the Tony the Tiger Sun Bowl. I mean that is just so ridiculous. Tony the Tiger sponsoring a bowl, sponsoring the Sun Bowl. The Sun Bowl was always like a weird one. It was always like on CBS when it never made any sense that it was on CBS. But I just love there was just Tony the Tiger commercials the entire time. So I love me some Tony the T. So I'm taking his bowl. And then I'm trying to find the exact name. I'm taking the famous Idaho Potato Bowl. I think that works so perfectly. I'm going to take a combination of bad ones and good ones. I think that is just the famous Idaho potatoes. You know the bowl's going to be in Boise. You're on the blue turf with the potatoes.
Maryland, Nevada?
Yeah, but it was called the Humanitarian Bowl maybe at that point. I think believe. So. Not to give away a pick. I don't think anybody will be taking that.
No.
So I'm taking famous Idaho potato.
Good pick.
RD2.
I am taking the Boca Raton Wet the Beak Ponzi Scheme Awareness Bowl presented by Pardon My Take, presented by Barstool Sports.
I'm not writing that down.
It was, who was it? Western Kentucky and Memphis. I think that was Trevor Simeon and who was the quarterback for Western Kentucky? No, not Simeon. Was it Simeon and Memphis?
Did Trevor Simeon play in the Big Ten?
No. Who was that? I thought it was. I don't know. But again, it's the game that Barstool and Pardon My Take sponsored.
Trevor Simeon played for Northwestern.
Did he really? Who the hell am I thinking? Who was at Memphis?
I don't know. Was the guy that got drafted in the second round
by the Broncos, right?
Denver.
That's what. Who is that guy?
I'm looking it up.
I thought it was
Paxton Lynch.
That's who it is. Yes, Paxton Lynch. They're the same person to me. Absolute same person. Just a very funny bowl name. And again, it's just like that. That's kind of just like a microcosm of the bowls, like the names now, where it's just like, I don't know what the hell half this stuff is saying. Like it's just a perfect bowl name. So Boca Raton, Wet the Beak, Ponzi Scheme Awareness. I don't even remember why it was a Ponzi Scheme Awareness, but presented by Pardon My Take, presented by Barstool Sports. I don't even know, the logo that they made is just a bunch of hands holding cash, and then a line to the Western Kentucky mascot saying not affiliated with Western Kentucky, and then I think it's Bernie Madoff with a big X over his face. So that's the Ponzi Scheme Awareness part. So yeah, there we go.
Thanks.
I am going to take the Beef O'Brady's Bowl.
Yeah,
it's a classic bowl in St. Petersburg, which I think is the Tampa area. Gentlemen, I don't know if you've ever been to a Beef O'Brady's.
No.
Are you familiar with Beef O'Brady's?
No. Couldn't have less than an idea what it is.
This is somewhat of a predecessor of the Buffalo Wild Wings scene, but it's very Florida. It's maybe exclusively Florida. I have been to a Beef O'Brady's. I went to a Beef O'Brady's in 2008 to watch a Ravens-Cowboys game as the Ravens closed down Cowboys Stadium with big runs by Willis McGahee and LeRon McClain, who was at the tailgate, both of them on Sunday. So that's a little personal to me. I love Beef O'Brady's just because that was one of the funner regular season Ravens games I can remember.
When I hear Beef O'Brady, I think of like goulash. I don't know why. Like I think of like ground beef and like spaghetti. That's all I think about with Beef O'Brady. Don't know why. Is it like a sports bar?
Yeah, it's like Looney's, I guess, but it's more like cliche. It's just a sports bar. It's like the O'Brady is just like a shitty Irish punny type nonsense.
Oh, yeah. Okay. I would have never thought that. I don't know.
Yeah. Now you know a little more about Beef O'Brady's.
Now I do. There we go. Now, yeah, the more you know.
I'm going to follow this up with the I got to take the Duke's Mayo Bowl at this point. Mm-hmm. It's been on the board for a while here. It's pertinent to us here. They've done a remarkable job marketing it over the years. The Mayo dump is become a little bit of a tradition now at this point, which is all you can ask for if you're Dukes. I don't care for mayo personally. I think it's disgusting.
I love.
I also love mayo.
Oh.
I've heard that Dukes absolutely slaps and destroys Hellman's. I've always had Hellman's,
really?
so I'm interested to try Dukes in the coming weeks as we head to the bowl. I'm hoping we get like a Dukes gift pack when we go to the bowl.
You'll be going to that, right?
I will be there. We leave on the 26th. You'll be
getting that mayo straight from the teat.
Yep, I cannot wait. I really can't.
So Brian, you don't put like mayonnaise and ketchup together on like your Chick-fil-A sandwiches?
What the fuck are you talking about, man?
You don't mix that together and put it on your Chick-fil-A sandwiches?
Wait, what?
You don't put mayonnaise and ketchup together?
No.
Oh, that's
not
delicious.
on my Chick-fil-A
for Chick-fil-A specifically.
Yeah, I do it on Chick-fil-A. I do it on burgers. Yeah.
Okay, burgers, fine.
Yeah. But it was so.
I don't on burgers, but
there's also 600 sauces you can get from Chick-fil-A.
It's like a deleted scene from Step Brothers.
No, well, that's what it is. It's fancy sauce. Yeah, that's what it is. But I mean, I put that. I mean, that's
when you get your Chick-fil-A, so you're taking it home and you're doing that.
Yeah. Do you know when the last time I ate in a Chick-fil-A was?
No, not eating a Chick-fil-A. Not eating like in the car or something.
No, I'm not eating in the car because I'm drinking my milkshake in the car.
But it seems as though you're sitting here and acting like that's a normal thing, though. Like, what? Wait, you don't?
Yeah, but that we don't do that.
Don't put ketchup.
I just eat the honey mustard that they give me.
I was just gonna say without even mentioning or like considering the bevy of delicious sauces that Chick-fil-A has.
You can get like 7 different sauces from Chick-fil-A.
I get those sauces.
Most of them are sensational.
I get the sauces for my fries and like nuggets. I don't do my Chick-fil-A sauce like on my sandwich.
Wow. Sauce. It's fascinating.
Well, I don't think that's that.
You're like waiting till you're like sitting there and you're like getting out your mayo, you're getting your ketchup, you're like mixing them up and putting them on your Chick-fil-A. When you just have like honey mustard or Chick-fil-A sauce or Polynesian or buffalo or like all
I get Chick-fil-A ranch and buffalo, and then I ask for mayonnaise and ketchup. And I put the mayonnaise and ketchup on the burger on this.
You asked for 5 different things at Chick-fil-A. You're lucky these people are so nice.
Listen, when you're getting them, I'm buying for 3 every time I go. It's not just for me. We're getting the wife and we're getting the little one. So,
family man.
That's what I'm saying. I can't eat in the car. You think I could eat in the car while Joe's sitting in the back hankering for her nuggets?
She gets nuggets, huh?
Yeah, of course. It's the nugget girl.
Go through the whole order.
She gets the nuggets, fries. I will go spicy chicken sandwich, extra pickles.
Whoa. Okay. You're going ketchup and mayonnaise on the spicy chicken?
Yes, of course.
I've heard enough.
All right, we're done.
Mayonnaise, I just don't say. How does that? No,
that's unbelievable.
It's not unbelievable.
Yes,
this is a very normal thing.
What? I thought for sure that was on the regular sandwich. I thought there was not a shot you were getting spicy chicken.
Why is that like a
is
crazy
he gaslighting us?
It's not like I'm putting mayonnaise in my Chipotle. Like,
I kind of wouldn't put it past you at this point.
Oh, come on. All right. It's fantastic. It's mayonnaise, great condiment. Good pick.
I like mayonnaise. RDT, your pick.
It's ranch or bust on a spicy. Forget it.
Sorry, I'm setting up a poll. I am going
with that.
Here we go.
I'm going to go with.
Here's the thing: you're gonna have all your like
a more
weird loyalists that all vote for you.
Yeah,
all
your snake tank people that are
more traditional bowl, and I am going with the Gator Bowl. I have many good memories of the Gator Bowl.
Well, it's an amazing Terps memory.
I know, and we had the Gator Bowl legend on, Steve Suter, to talk about that game and the matchup with West Virginia. A lot of
you
good.
Guys will love this, by the way. We've had Steve Suter on this show. I've had him on here, the Turtle. He's now traveling with Maryland radio. So he travels with our PR people. So he goes out with them. So Ben and Dustin. And he said that Ben apparently was like talking to him about me and was like, "Oh, you like went on the podcast with him or whatever." And apparently Suter was like, "Wait, who?" And Ben was like, "No, it's Taylor. It's Taylor." And he just apparently was like, "The guy with the glasses? I'm the guy with the glasses, baby. Yeah. I'm the guy with the glasses. We'll take it. Go ahead. Sorry. Thought that was funny.
I mean, that's
Is
not
that
surprising at all.
I love everything about that. I love everything about
We'll have to get him on, and we could just ask him the exact same question.
If he has any idea who I am.
We'd be like, "Oh yeah," and then you know Matt Swope, and he'll be like, "Oh yeah."
It's so funny.
No, but again, like the Gator Bowl was just class, and I think it was Toyota Gator Bowl. I think it may probably still is. That was always just a fun bowl down in Jacksonville. And again, when I think Maryland only played in it once, I believe. But again, it was a West Virginia game that was very, very fun. And I watched that at the Champs in Columbia Mall, and Captain Defense was there. The Terps or the Ravens guy. And that's his name, right? Yeah. He was there for like decked out and all his Terp stuff. So yeah, very fun. Good game. Always just a classic logo too. So a lot of good memories of the Gator Bowl.
I have two here. I don't even know if I like. I'm sort of taking this because of what was around it. I like the Outback Bowl. I was always a fan of the shenanigans with the Outback Bowl mascots. I think that stuff always played. I thought it was always funny. The Bloomin' Onion freaking peacocking around was ridiculous. It's also Outback is a good name for a bowl. Like it's just a good company name that kind of fits.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of really bad company names that don't fit, and I always like how it was just the Outback. We're going to the Outback Bowl. Always was good. So
That's
I'm going
a
with
good bowl too.
Yeah.
Isn't it? It's like always the first one on New Year's Day, right? Isn't it always like a noon kickoff on New Year's Day?
It's usually a Big Ten versus SEC too, which makes it pretty good.
Yeah, because it's always like number 2 SEC versus number 2. It's all like, I mean, we've had great matchups there. It's always great uniform matchups, awesome uniform matchups.
Yeah,
the Clowney play, like there's been a lot of good memories, a lot of good things that have come from that.
The pitting of the free Bloomin' Onion versus free cheese fry promotion is also fantastic. I don't know if there's a better sit down casual chain cheese fry than the Outback bacon cheese fry
in a long time.
It's been
their
20
ranch
years.
is elite.
We should go to an Outback. What's the closest Outback?
There's one in Canton.
I got one.
That's right. That's right. Maybe we can go to RET. So we always make him go to us. Maybe we can go to his neck of the woods and go to the Outback over there.
I'm sure it's a scene at the Glen Burnie, Pasadena Glen Burnie Outback. Probably a lot of like nice date night people, if you know.
Oh, here we go.
No, I'm just saying. I'm not shitting on Dundalk. It's Glen
I
Burnie.
thought you were shitting on your people over there.
I am.
Got
it's
good bread,
the Dirty Burnie.
Cheese fries.
No, I do remember the bread being awesome.
The stuff food is good. The food is
ranch
good
being awesome.
Their mac and cheese is elite.
Master Mac.
You just get a double order on the kids menu.
I'm going to then take, this is very specific, but this is what I knew this bowl jumped the shark. I'm taking the Rose Bowl game presented by PlayStation 2. I specifically remember when that happened because everyone was like, oh, the granddaddy of them all is sold out to corporate America. And it's like, yeah, no shit. So is everybody. And I was like, oh, cool. PlayStation. I play video games.
Do they still have a sponsor?
Yeah, it's
they do kind of keep it in the background.
They keep it in the back. It's oh gosh. Oh no, they don't have one this year. It had been here's their last few. Capital One, Northwestern Mutual, Vizio, Citi, PlayStation and Sony, AT&T. They really don't have one this year. That's surprising. That's prime real estate. Remember Vizio? God, Vizio did a lot of sports sponsorship for a while.
They did. Konica Minolta did the Gator Bowl for a bit too.
Konica Minolta. Wow. So yeah, PlayStation 2. RET.
I have 2 more, right?
You do.
I'm gonna go the Bitcoin St. Petersburg Bowl in 2014. It's just a funny thing, and it's also funny to think like back in 2014, which is not that long ago, but it seems like forever ago. Like that they had a
related
Bitcoin
to
bowl.
Bitcoin, yeah.
Like that seemed. I mean, that was super early on the train. It had to be, right?
You guys see the Taylor Swift FTX thing today?
I did.
I did not.
Fucking legend.
Just
Taylor Swift's
absolute
the best.
dunking.
Taylor Swift's the best. They offered $100 million to sponsor a tour, and she said no.
Good.
Now they're in total scandal.
That would have been something if she was involved with the Ticketmaster and that. Oh man,
I would have never heard the end of that.
God, the songs that she would write about those. But yeah, just the Bitcoin bull just cracks me up. Just funny, you know.
Thanks.
I'm taking the Super Colossal Cereal Bowl. It is the absolute pinnacle of football of the backyard variety. No, that's not Sonny Day and Vinny the Gooch. They replaced one of the guys. Now this is just me being a noodle brain. I don't know. Backyard football is an awesome game, and that's the championship game. Winner goes to Wally World or whatever. Gets a newspaper and the pizza party. Big time bowl.
Good pick. That's a solid pick.
Yeah, it's a good pick. Yeah.
Thank you.
Super Colossal.
Super Colossal Cereal Bowl. Final pick.
Yeah.
Minute.
Minute.
R.I.P. Minute Bowl.
Oh. Yeah.
Over his head.
And that's it.
Yeah.
That's how you mail in a draft, folks.
That picture of him and Muggsy Bogues next to each other. Pretty funny.
All time.
Pretty funny.
RDT.
I'm gonna go just with another name that I really like saying, the Cherry Bundy Tart Cherry Boca Raton Bowl. So I'm doubling up on the Boca Raton bowls here. The Cherry Bundy Tart Cherry Boca Raton Bowl.
That is funny. I didn't think that was gonna be funny as you started saying it. And Cherry Bundy being a blind.
I mean, it's just a fun word.
It's so ridiculous. When we're
say.
done here, I'm gonna go through all the bowl. I pulled it up. I'm gonna go through the entire bowl season. It won't take me very long. The names are so ridiculous.
It's crazy.
I'll finish it off easy when I'm taking the Bubble Bowl. Iconic performance at the Bubble Bowl. So I'm taking the Bubble Bowl. Pretty
That's
easy.
true.
Pick. Yeah.
It's a good pick.
Banks takes the Tostitos Fiesta Bowl. The Beef O'Brady's Bowl, which is a good under the radar pick. I forgot about that. The Duke's Mayo Bowl, the Super Colossal Cereal Bowl, and Minute Bowl. I took the Tony the Tiger Sun Bowl, the famous Idaho Potato Bowl, the Outback Bowl, the Rose Bowl presented by PlayStation 2, and the Bubble Bowl. And RDT takes the Bad Boy Motors Gas Grill Bowl. What's the Pardon My Take Bowl called?
Shit, you're gonna make me find this again. Hold on.
No, I'm not. You can say it after. I'm gonna go through the rest of your picks. The Gator Bowl, the Bitcoin St. Petersburg Bowl, and the Cherry Bundy Boca Raton Bowl, which I, for some reason, continue to laugh at.
All right.
Pardon My Take Bowl is?
It is the Boca Raton Wet the Beak Ponzi Scheme Awareness Bowl presented by Pardon My Take, presented by Barstool Sports. There you have it. But I don't know if it's a better name than the Cherry Bundy Tart Cherry Boca Raton Bowl.
Okay. This year's bowls. The Hometown Lenders Bahamas Bowl, the Duluth Trading Cure Bowl, the Wasabi Fenway Bowl, the Cricket Celebration Bowl, the SRS Distribution Las Vegas Bowl, the Jimmy Kimmel LA Bowl presented by Stifel.
Yeah, I saw that one.
The Lending Tree Bowl, the New Mexico Bowl, the Frisco Bowl, the Myrtle Beach Bowl, the famous Idaho Potato Bowl, the RoofClaim.com Boca Raton Bowl, the R&L Carriers New Orleans Bowl, the Lockheed Martin Armed Forces Bowl. That's very on the nose. The Radiance Technologies Independence Bowl, the Union Home Mortgage Vasparilla Bowl, the Easy Post Hawaii Bowl, the Quick Lane Bowl, not where you ever want to be if you're a Big Ten team. The Quick Lane Bowl. The Camellia Bowl, the Serve Pro First Responder Bowl, the Tickets Martyr Birmingham Bowl. Tickets Smarter. I'm an idiot. The Guaranteed Rate Bowl, the Military Bowl presented by Paraton, the AutoZone Liberty Bowl. That's been around for a while. AutoZone's been hot on the Liberty Bowl for years.
They got that unlocked.
San Diego County Credit Union Holiday Bowl, the Tax Act Texas Bowl, the Bad Boy Mowers Pinstripe Bowl. This I thought would be taken. The Cheez-It Bowl, who are doing a variety of weird activations. The Valero Alamo Bowl, the Duke's Mayo Bowl, the Tony the Tiger Sun Bowl, the Tax Slayer Gator Bowl, the Barstool Sports Arizona Bowl, the Capital One Orange Bowl. Also has Capital One and the Orange Bowl have been associated for a while. The Trans Perfect Music City Bowl, the All-State Sugar Bowl, also a very long one, long-winded one. The Verbo Fiesta Bowl, the Chick-fil-A Peach Bowl, also been around for a long time. The ReliaQuest Bowl, the Goodyear Cotton Bowl Classic, the Cheez-It Citrus Bowl, 2 bowls for Cheez-Its, a double dip with the Cheez-Its.
Wow, you rarely see that.
The Rose Bowl game, then the College Football Playoff National Championship presented by AT&T. A lot of free ads there, but that's your bowl games. Nick Cantor Medley, Maryland Person of the Week, RDT.
Whoa! I got honorable mentions.
Oh shit! Okay, I thought we were tapped out there.
I got the
fellas.
Poulon Weed Eaters Independence Bowl from 91 to 97 in Shreveport. The San Diego County Credit Union Poinsettia Bowl. I feel like that's always a classic one. They used to have a cigar bowl. The Visit Florida Tangerine Bowl in Orlando back in 2001. There was a Blockbuster Bowl. And then in 1947 to 1955 in Phoenix, they had the Salad Bowl.
Naturally.
When I think Phoenix, I think salad.
The Pacific Life Holiday Bowl, like,
that's had a lot of legs.
A lot of prestige to that. There's something classy about that. And that's when you play NCAA football and you get to like recreate moments or whatever. That was like a feature that they used to do. I felt like half the games were at the Pacific Life Holiday Bowl. That was a big time bowl back in the day. And I also want to give a shout out to just specifically the 2018 Cheez-It Bowl, one of the greatest football games I've ever watched. If you don't know anything about it, go Google it. A combined 9 interceptions between the two teams, ultimately resulting in a 10-7 overtime win by TCU over Cal.
Valero has been on the Alamo Bowl for at least a decade and a half, I would say.
Yeah, that's a good run for them.
Yeah, easy.
Chick-fil-A is the longest standing partnership. 26 years has it been the Chick-fil-A Peach Bowl.
So
Maryland,
they dropped the peach
Tennessee
at some point, though, didn't they?
They dropped the peach and made it the Chick-fil-A Bowl and brought it back. Yep.
So the peach is back.
It is the Chick-fil-A Peach Bowl. Yes.
That's good. It should stay the Peach Bowl,
as is tradition. I remember I went to a Wizards game on New Year's Eve, and they beat the Spurs, and I was upset because I was at the game and I couldn't watch Maryland trounce Tennessee. I think it was EJ Henderson's last game.
From 06 to 13, it was the Chick-fil-A Bowl, and then they brought the peach back.
Good. Bring it back.
The Bulls sold out 17 straight years, the second longest streak behind the Rose Bowl.
Wasn't that the Peach Bowl? That was where Miami got in that big fight, I think, with LSU.
The Peach Bowl's great because Atlanta's a great place to go. It's just got great tradition. That's a very good bowl game.
Yeah. And again, always good teams. There's like always good teams in it.
Yep. Last year, Michigan State beat Pittsburgh 31-21 in a very good game.
Like I said, always good games and matchups.
Yep. Nick Cantor Medley, Maryland Person of the Week, RDT.
I'm going friends of the program. Trey and Sarah get married this weekend. So congrats to them.
Wow, congrats to them.
Yeah. That little destination wedding, I think in the Bahamas.
Stove is hot.
Hot stove, baby. I was talking to Sarah the other day, and I was like, what a way to end the year. A combined 3 rings. Not too bad. I don't think their year went too bad at all. So yeah, congrats to them.
Thanks.
Other than me,
you have been known to give this to yourself.
Tyler Huntley, big drive, big time play, win a football game one time. I mean, can you imagine the negativity on Twitter if we had not pulled that one out? And how much we'd be talking about James Prochet throwing one of the worst passes in NFL history.
Yeah.
That's the way people are painting it. It was, bad play.
Just bad decision. It's a horrible decision.
Bad decision.
Don't throw the ball.
Harbaugh's quotes on it were pretty funny too, because he was kind of like, yeah, probably shouldn't have called it, but I get what he was going for, but it wasn't the time, and we could have called something else. And it was like a just kind of shitting on it in like a compliment sandwich, kind of where you'd like say something bad, but then he'd be like, "Oh, I can see why he called it, but definitely not at that time." And he kept like going back and forth.
I will go with our two friends. Two friends. Great performance at the tailgate on Sunday. Jimmy Seafood put on a nice event there, and two friends were fantastic. Did a great job. Seemed to enjoy their time in Baltimore. I believe they went to the game and went to Jimmy's and had a weekend there. So good for those guys, and they did a great job. So it seemed like everyone that was there was enjoying it. Me and Banks had the pleasure of going. Hopefully they come back RDT, so you get to go. It was a great time. Great time. So shout out to them. Really, really fantastic stuff.
It was a great time.
We missed you, RDT.
Would have been fun. Again, I when I was looking at my Instagram, everyone's stories were two friends. Like everybody. I got multiple texts the next day being like, my body is in shambles, like from yesterday. Just
I've always wanted to see two friends under a bridge.
Yeah,
In
the
40
confetti, by the way,
weather.
is still hanging from the underpass.
That's
I
cool.
believe
I saw
Yeah.
that in the video. That was cool. That was
I drive past that every day.
the
So,
pictures and videos from it again looked so sick.
It was very fun.
So cool.
Yeah, but the back-to-back days where you had the ability to drink before 10 a.m. with the USA soccer game, and it was a hard Monday for me.
I can't help but think that that's contributed to my current status.
Probably. It was a long and
help.
the Terps game was late on Friday. It was just a lot of
And last night,
I know.
Yeah,
I stayed
9
up
p.m.
last night.
9 p.m. for UCLA next Wednesday too.
can we talk about it? What was up with the rims?
I don't have any insight there, but it was interesting. They clearly had mic'd them very high.
Oh my god! I felt like I could feel it in like my molars every time.
It feels like there's a
hit the
couple
rim.
games a year where a production crew just over mics the rims, and
Golly,
you get things like that.
That was miserable.
Because it's not like it was a situation where the rims were popping off because you're like at a neutral site with nobody there. I mean, the place was packed, and they have great fans there.
Yeah.
So
apparently a lot of Maryland fans too.
Bango breaking the rim, and the Bucks mascot broke the rim at halftime. So
heard about that.
What can you say? I will give an honorable mention to Maryland basketball for Friday's performance against Illinois. Awesome. Absolutely electric atmosphere at Xfinity Center. The Gold Rush is special. It's just special. It's very, very cool. It's like a
little mini segment here on Maryland. Yeah,
sure.
Like a lot of people. Okay, maybe not a lot of people. There's some people bummed out by the loss last night. You lose conference games on the road to good programs. That's a good program over there, Wisconsin. And then you look at these next two games, and they're big opportunities for the Terps. But if they go out and lose those two, I mean, would you have taken 8-3 after that stretch?
And I'm just talking ranked
13th here. Like if they go out and lose the next two games, are people going to be upset?
I think it depends on how they're played.
I think they will be, but they shouldn't be.
They shouldn't be.
Correct. That I'm trying to get out in front of that. I'm trying to say, like, hey, like losing last night, like takes a little wind out of the sails, but like they weren't going to run the table. Like
it is,
they're going to lose conference games on the road. It's going to happen. And
this is not like an excuse. That is a incredibly hard place for everybody to win because they do the exact same thing every time. Wisconsin shortens the game. They don't turn the ball over. Shout out to our one of our basketball staff members, Chris Robinson. We were texting, and he's just like, Wisconsin is they're just hard to beat. Like they are just super. And obviously they had their chances last night, but that is just a hard team to go in there and beat. And the stat was amazing. The last, whatever it was, 10 8-0 teams that had gone in there had all lost, or 10 out of the last 11 or something crazy. I mean, that's a hard play. Robbie Hummel even said it. He was like, we came in here at 14-0 once and just got absolutely pounded. Like there was just like nothing we could do.
Yeah.
So if you're a college basketball fan, you knows, but Ken Palm is the like most popular ratings metric. Tennessee is 2, UCLA is 7. That's Maryland's next 2. I mean,
yeah.
Illinois is 12. So
they'll probably jump. Was that after their win last night?
That was after Texas. They just beat Texas last night. So and Texas is good.
That was another thing. It's like that Illinois win already looks even better.
Yeah, but I'm trying to temper expectations. Like, you should hope that we just win one of the next 2 games.
Yeah,
and if they don't, a lot of season left, and like 1-1 in conference play with 2 of the better teams already off the slate, with all kinds of runway for a team that's still gelling and hasn't been together for all that long, and is, it's got all kinds of upside. So,
and really has had some guys not like they're still waiting for Don Carey to find the 3-point shot a little bit. He's a career 40% shooter and just hasn't found it early in the season. He'll get that together. Jameer Young is a better 3-point shooter than he's shown. He's even obviously hit some huge shots. The shot he hit against Illinois was a firm inject into my veins. I'm going to be a Maryland point guard type of shot. I mean, he's a stud, but they're still, they haven't even necessarily hit their potential, I think, as a team that can shoot it. And it's just tough if they're going to have Dante Scott, when Dante's been amazing. He struggled a little bit, and he's your guy that can kind of make his own shot. And when he struggles, and you're gonna, as you said, Banks, no one goes undefeated in the Big Ten. Does not happen. So
that team went 15-5 last year in conference.
Yeah, they're hard to beat at home. They are hard to beat at home. This will be a fun stretch, though. I mean, Sunday 4:30 against Tennessee, who's good every year now with Rick Barnes, and then kind of chokes in the postseason as Rick Barnes teams do. And then UCLA, Mick Cronin, Kevin Willard's like very like two blue collar bald guys facing off. And what hopefully I think will be another good atmosphere at Xfinity Center. I cannot believe Jaime Jaquez is still in college. He's still playing for UCLA, but 2 good games coming up. And then, as you said, they have sort of a easier stretch in the North. They got Michigan and Ohio State over the winter break. So Hunter Dickinson in a full Xfinity Center will be an interesting experience.
I'm sure he'll have some more fun things to say about Turgeon or something.
That guy is, oh my God.
Yappies. Yeah, good stuff from the Terps. Deserved full 3 endorsed honorable mention for the Terps. Maryland basketball is good. Like I said a couple weeks ago, Maryland basketball is good. I think it's like a fun thing for the area. I think people like really get behind it. So hopefully people come out. Like, that was a great environment on Friday. Like, a very, very fun. We have 2 members of our staff who were sitting next to me for the game who like just got here, and so they hadn't experienced Maryland basketball season. And we had some games earlier where there hadn't been as many people, and we're doing the introductions, and the students are like all standing, and they were like, "Oh my gosh!" And I was like, "I mean, this is what Maryland basketball is right here. Like, this environment with the way the kids are." I mean, I remember just looking to my right at the student section, and there was one kid just beer up in his left hand, standing up on the seat in front of him, just like pointing at the ref. I was just like, "We are back. We are absolutely back." Great stuff. And as SVP there, Francis Tiafo in attendance. So it was fun. Dead or alive? Do you have the list?
I do have the list.
By the way, speaking of dead or alive, RIP to Christy Alley, who I think would have been actually a good person for this, but passed away.
Mark that down for an episode in 2025.
Perfect.
I couldn't believe she's 71.
Yeah,
that's a name that I wasn't sure what she was famous for, but that's just a name that you grew up and know it's a name, and you have seen her face, but I had no idea she was 71.
When they said she was famous from Cheers and something else, I was like, oh, I'm like with you. I'm like, yeah, I guess, yeah, she was in Cheers, but like I didn't watch it, but I was like, what movie was she in? I don't know. Like, gun to my head, I don't think I can name one movie Chrissy Alley was in. Oh, we lost it. We lost the mic.
We lost the mic for a second. Oh,
speak.
Am I back?
Yeah, there we go.
Yeah. Sharon Stone is like another name in that era where I'm like, I have no idea what Sharon Stone's famous for.
Bad Intent. What was that movie? The
Cruel Intentions or something? I've heard of that movie.
Yeah,
I don't know. But I know that she's like, okay, that's a person. That's a big deal for people 10 years older than me.
Yeah.
Anyways, dead or alive, Bob Dole.
Just died.
Just died.
Okay, died late in 2021.
Yeah. Yeah, that's still class.
That's a good one. Bob Dole's a good one though. Bob Dole was in his 90s, I believe.
Yeah, he was up there.
Did Elizabeth Dole just pass away? Is that the Dole that? I think Elizabeth Dole passed away in the last like 3 months.
Couldn't tell you.
No, she's still alive.
Wow. All right. Well,
Wow.
jinx.
You're pulling better dead or alive than I am.
Yikes.
Yes.
I'm dead or aliving myself.
Yeah, he's dead. He's dead.
Bobby D. Ran for president in 96, got beat by Clinton in the second term. Didn't really ever get close to beating him.
Nope.
One of the more nondescript opposition campaigns, I think, in recent memory. Presidential election, by the way, very much staring us in the face here as we head into 2023. That is going to start ramping
4
up.
years old for that camp.
Yeah, yeah, he's talking about it like
No. But I'm saying like no one like I feel like people talk about like other, losers of presidential campaigns way more. I don't feel like you ever hear about Bobby D.
No, you don't. Which is why I kind of like.
He just didn't have any notable moments. Like Mike
yeah,
Dukakis had some notable moments. John Kerry has some notable moments.
Well, Bob Dole's got the Bob Dole thing.
Yeah, I'm Bob Dole.
Yeah.
Bob Dole.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
And his wife. I mean, his wife was a politician as well, Elizabeth.
Yeah.
We should do a political offshoot. We just analyze every presidential campaign.
I'll explain more later, Taylor. There's a podcast by Shane Gillis. It's Matt and Shane's Secret Pod, and he does a 4-part podcast. Shane Gillis with who's the Louis C.K. and they go over every president just one by one. It was fascinating. It's like 5 hours of content. It was awesome. Like you would love it. It's some awesome stories.
I listen to that.
You would like that a lot. It was really cool. I just thought.
Were they just dishing facts on them or something?
Yeah,
or
it was like legitimately
them,
like there was some, I forget who it was. There was some president who married like some 21-year-old chick because like his first wife had died, and then they lost the election, and the 21-year-old chick was like, I'm not moving any of my stuff out of the White House because we're gonna be back, and like they won like another term later or something like that. There's some like it was wild stuff.
I need to listen to that.
Yeah, it was really.
Is Grover Cleveland the only non-consecutive 2-term?
Yep.
Maybe it's him. It could have been him.
Maybe. God, we're gonna have another one who's gonna try.
Can you imagine? By the way, Bob Dole in
DTJ is gonna.
Oh no! Trump would have. I mean, it would have been the roast all over.
He would have ravaged him.
Bob Dole in today's current SNL talentless find a new fucking thing era that they're in, where they
seem to be struggling. By the way,
politicize everything. Where it's just like, oh, it's a campaign year. Like at least we got something that people might tune in for, and they just drive it into the ground.
They'll never get their 2000 strategery lockbox, Al Gore and George Bush. They'll never get that back.
They put a lot of new people on that show this year. I just don't watch it that much.
I guess that means everyone is leaving. That's what that means.
I don't find out about it. Yeah. If Dante doesn't blog it, so.
Dead or Alive in the books. Always a fun segment. That's it for this week's show. Once again, a tip of the cap, a bow, a just overall respect for Banks for jumping on the show tonight with his ailment.
Thank you.
RDT, you're a father. You've got a lot of responsibilities in your life, so it's really an honor to speak with you as well.
Thank you.
Always
sick, man. I'm just always sick.
You're sick. Yeah, I just get allergies, I feel like, everywhere I go, but then I clear up and then I'm bad. I don't know. It's the winter. I shouldn't have it. I'm getting crushed by dust. Anywhere there's dust, I'm struggling right now. It's just struggling. I'd like to thank our sponsors, Thread Level Midnight, Jimmy Seafood, Fed Thrill. Appreciate their support. As we said, great tailgate from Jimmy Seafood Sunday. Appreciate them bringing two friends out for all the people in Baltimore to see. Two friends, I believe, is in DC in June, so go see them if you would like to support the friends. We'll see you next time on the X52 podcast presented by Jimmy's Seafood.